Hello, my name is Pontus Stigberg and I'm here to tell you about the new Samyang 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8. I have used the lens extensively over the past 5 weeks during my day-to-day photography. I brought it on multiple adventures and had it stuck on my camera to see how I can manage with just one lens. I work as an outdoor photographer. I usually photograph everything from skiing, hiking, running, kayaking and so on. I also do quite a bit of portrait and landscape work. My normal camera bag for professional shoot is always a 2-camera setup with multiple lenses depending on what I shoot. The possibility to work with just one lens was exciting. I had a very pleasant experience working with the lens. It's very well built and I had no problem knocking it around for a couple of weeks. I had it around stones, water, rain. Now I want to tell you about how I work with the lens and what kind of images you can expect from it. The one thing that makes this lens so special is the versatility. The versatility comes from 2 aspects: the amount of light that it lets in and the zoom range. These 2 aspects open up so many new possibilities that we aren't used to with traditional lenses. As someone who never leaves my home without my 24-70, I was very happy with the amount of images that I could get with the 35 to 150 instead. Normally, I never cared to bring the telelens as it's too big and heavy, and the extra step of changing lenses usually means I miss the moments I want to capture. Therefore, all of the images above 70mm were like a bonus for me. I also came to appreciate the images very much. And these ones were some of my absolute favorite images from this summer. We were super lucky with the conditions while I was camping. All of these images were photographed around 115mm, which means that I wouldn't even be close to the same image with a 70mm. The depth of field would have been much deeper and I would have lost plenty of megapixels if I were to crop it from a 70mm. The image would have been much worse essentially. To stand there with these conditions without being able to capture them properly, that would have been really painful. So I'm really glad I brought it. One thing I realized when I come back from a photo shoot was how nice it was to be able to grab so many more portraits than I usually do by just zooming in and snapping some of them. When I look back at the older images I've taken, it's not the mushrooms in the forest that I usually appreciate, it's the images of my friends and family. So having a world-class portrait lens as this one in the bag or on the camera is not something I'm just appreciating now, but for years to come when I look back at all the images. I was curious to see how this lens would perform in a professional environment, so I brought it to photograph a trail running race. It was so nice to not have to change cameras all the time. When they're running towards you, the last thing you want to do is to change lenses or change cameras, because then you are most definitely missing the moment. I really came to realize and appreciate how much flexibility you add with a zoom like this one. You could get both a tight portrait and a landscape running image with this lens at the same time, and that was really nice. I was also very impressed by the performance of this lens, and I found the autofocus on the A7 IV with this lens to be quite snappy and precise, and especially in video. The sharpness was really good as well. I did not notice I was using a super zoom lens on the image quality. Although sharpness and image quality is maybe sometimes too much focus on, you really don't want to be shooting with anything where you wish every time you take a picture you wish you had taken it on another lens. I found the rendering of the image with both colors and out of focus areas to be very pleasing. I thought all the portrait photos looked good and the landscape images also turned out very nice. These photos are such a good example on why this is such a good lens to always have on the camera. We were having dinner one night and suddenly a rainbow appeared out of nowhere, and I grabbed the camera with the lens on and ran down just 50 meters from where I live, and I could in a matter of a few minutes take all the photos I wanted without having to switch lenses or think about that. I could just 100% focus on the experience and taking all the images I really wanted. And when you're in a situation like this with, for example, a rainbow, it could disappear in 10 seconds, so every second matters, and that's why we have to be ready for the situation when it comes. After the rainbow disappeared, it was some beautiful lights for portraits, so I took some of my brother to join me. This lens really is the first one where I don't feel like I have to switch to the 35-1.4 for the portraits, because the performance of this one is that close to the 35-1.4 that it's not necessary. And the flexibility to zoom in a bit makes it in most cases an even better option than my prime lenses for portraits, I think. The fact that this lens opens up all the way to f2 makes it such a versatile option. As someone who is used to the 2.8 zoom for all my auto photography, it was very nice to be able to go down all the way to f2. Extra separations from the background made many of my images so much more interesting. When you sit in front of the computer editing the images, you really come to appreciate a little bit of extra separation you get from f2.8 to f2. And being able to use half the ISO in the evening was also brilliant. The best light is almost always in the evening, so to be able to shoot blue hour at 3200 instead of 6400 ISO is really something that makes a big difference for me as a professional photographer, because I can in many cases not deliver any images above 5000 ISO for commercial use. So being able to shoot at 3200 instead was really nice. So in conclusion, this is a brilliant lens for everyone looking to get a lens for everything from landscape and portraits and outdoor photography. I think it's the most versatile option out there for Sony E-mount, and if I were to only get one lens, I would get this one. Or it could easily replace 2 or 3 lenses in your existing camera bag. You really can't go wrong with the Samyang 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8. Thanks.